evening. Thank you so much, viewers, for joining us in this edition of the 6 p.m. newscast on Equinox Television. The Elekam Board Chair has said that the legitimacy of those to be voted in upcoming twin elections in the country might be put to question if the electorate do not reflect the number of registered voters. Samuel Fonkam Azu was speaking as over 2 million registered voters have not yet collected their biometric cards, and also in this newscast, 2 fake priests unveiled in Yaoundé Central region of the country. These are headlines, details, and more just in a moment. Thank you so much, viewers, for joining us in this edition of the 6 p.m. newscast on Equinox Television. Like we announced in the headlines, political parties and actors of the civil society in the country have so far presented their worries, ranging from the collection of money by authorities for the acquisition of documents ahead of the twin elections in the country, as well as discrimination in some Elekam offices in the country. They were speaking or they aired their views during a forum with Elekam head ahead of the twin elections in the country. Roland Akong tells us more from Yaoundé.
The Elekam Forum was a medium for political parties, the civil society and associations to express their worries and fears on the September twin council and parliamentary elections.
These duos are asking our candidates to pay 2,000 francs before they get what they call resident certificate, which is wrong. And the day after, they are asking our candidates, especially in the courts, to pay in 3,500 francs before they can issue to them non-conviction, which is wrong. All these documents are given free of charge, even without the fiscal stamp. They have delayed our papers on the field in their offices for about a week now. Because of that delay, that they could not sign this document in time to us, they should also extend 2 or 3 more days for us to deposit these documents, because we are already time back.
Another problem is the high-handedness of Elekam over election results files.
There is the fear that the result sheets at the level of the polling stations might not be, given to political parties. Only Elekam has the right to hold those result sheets, and this is a worry, because political parties feel that if they were to have copies of the result sheets as in the past, that would guarantee more transparency, and they will be sure that the results that are moved up and tallied at some level would be the right results.
The legitimacy of those to be elected will put to question if some over 2 million voters' cards are not collected from Elekam branches by registered voters.
There are 5.5 million cards. As of today, more than 2 million have been withdrawn. We still have over 75 days. I think there is still enough time for all the cards to be withdrawn. But if those cards that are not withdrawn will be available in the various polling stations. But our advice to all voters is go out now, obtain your voter's card.
Persons with disabilities have their own worries about the elections.
There are many marginalizations, many difficulties for handicapped people in the voting section, because we don't have any place. There's discrimination. It's as if we are not just considered, but so they have to show us and prove us that handicapped person can have also their place everywhere they can.
Meanwhile, women are eyeing more seats in parliament and councils.
We are looking for at least 30% of female MPs after the upcoming legislative elections. And in the councils, we are sure that we can have at least 50%.
We did not see the faces of prominent political figures, heads of political parties, at the 4th Elekam consultative meeting in Yaoundé.
Roland Akong there reporting from Yaoundé Central region. Meantime, the defense lawyers or the defense counsel in the case pitting the former basic education minister that is Madam Aman Adama, and the state of Cameroon has frowned at the extremely slow manner in which it is unfolding. Their worry comes after Aman Adama reimbursed the 212 million francs CFA she is accused of having embezzled. The State Council maintained that the administrative procedures are underway and would in no way hamper the judicial proceedings, but the Defense Council are also demanding to know whether their clients and their co-accused would be liberated anytime soon. Hearing in the case would only continue on August 7, 2013. Now, the BAC results, the 2013 BAC results have officially been published, with the Littoral region coming third, or having the highest number of successful candidates across the country. And it was a euphoric atmosphere in some parts of the city of Douala where the results were being published. A majority who spoke for Hansen Chanji already have a notion of which career they would go for in the next academic year. His report.
Thursday, successful candidates of the Baccalaureate General are jumping from one place to another, screaming with joy. Those students who braced the odds after several sittings in the exams did not hide their feelings. This is my third time I am writing the Baccalaureate General. It was most difficult when I waited for the results. They have crossed the bridge and are now looking forward to enter into lecture halls of universities. I want to go to the university and study law. I want to become a lawyer. After my university life, I need just a job to feed my family. I passed in A4 letters. It was my first time to write the Baccalaureate General. I love English literature. I will go to University of Boya. I want to become bilingual. The atmosphere at Government Bilingual High School, Deido, was not different. Some successful candidates of Baccalaureate General are already dreaming of becoming soldiers. I have 3 years to study law in the university before writing the EMIA concours. I want to become an army general. I had always wanted to become an army. Most of these successful students are now using their opposite uniforms for signatories of friends to keep as memories when they are departed. While some students jubilate, those who failed seem to be in the other world as they celebrate candidates who wrote the General Certificate of Education, the GCE, are now expecting their results impatiently.
The atmosphere in some parts of the city of Douala that was today in the wake of the publication of the 2013 baccalaureate results. Meantime, the director of the BAC board has declared as false allegations that candidates who scored below 8 points in the exams were declared successful. Zachary Mbazogo was speaking in the wake of press reports that some of the candidates who had below average were given a pass mark. And so far, statistics have proven that 49,000 out of the 99,000 who stood for the 2013 edition or the 2018-13 session of the baccalaureate examinations were successful. Now, let's listen to the director of the BAC board, that is Zachary Mbazogo, who clears the air on the allegations and also evaluates the just published results.
The results of the baccalaureate examination this year are almost at the same level as last year. We had thought that they would be better, that they would improve, but unfortunately the figures are there. They are almost the same. We have always said that there is no fixed mark on which we base the deliberations. The deliberations are there. Children, candidates who score 10 over 20 are admitted immediately. But those who are below that, then the jury goes down and try to look for those who have scored better in their major subjects the subjects which are likely to read at the university.
That is the director of the backboard, speaking to our Yaoundé-based correspondent Roland Akong. We remain in that part of the country to talk about some two fake pastors or two fake priests that have fallen into the dragnets of some gendarme officials in that part of the country after they were accused of extorting money from locals in exchange for miracles. Our Yaoundé-based correspondent Roland Akong tells us in the following report that they are behind bars.
Two fake priests have fallen into the dragnets of the police in Yaoundé. The two men were passing as exorcist priests and were extorting money from people pretending to be praying for their deliverance.
Monday at 12 noon, my sister called, a friend of hers called and gave her an exorcist priest. So when my sister called the man said he was going to be chanced in the evening. So when he came in the evening, he asked us to bring stuff to pray, water in a bowl that he wants to bless the water. And we got to a certain point. He said that there is a coffin. My sister is sleeping on a coffin, and if they don't remove her coffin, she's going to die. So at a certain point, he said that the coffin is trying to run. So he arranged it and kept there. So we're confused. So he said that he was going to come the next day to continue the prayers. But before going, he wrote a list of items that was more than 200,000 francs, and then they said that they had to come and pray and then take us to one graveyard.
They had a cassock, which according to Vatican protocol is worn by bishops and cardinals. They had a chalice and communion.
Tuesday he was still to come. So when he came that Tuesday, he started saying that they had to go and bathe us in one river at midnight. So we said, okay, no problem, of which my sister had already arranged with policemen. They were out there waiting.
They are now under custody at the Yaoundé regional headquarters of the judicial police awaiting trial. Unscrupulous persons passing for professions to which they do not belong is a rising phenomenon in Cameroon. Watch out, or else you'll be the next victim.
Roland Akong, the reporting from Yaoundé Central region of the country. Meantime, illicit drug vendors are reported to have inundated most parts of the town of Ezeka. We are still in the central region of the country, with the locals left with no option but to go for their services. And this follows the absence of pharmacies in Ezeka, that is in the Nyong and Kele division. Senior reporter Chris Toby tells us more in the following report.
The absence of any veritable pharmacy or medical store both in Ezeka and the entire Nyong and Kele division of the Central region has somehow officialized the sales of illicit drugs in that locality. These untrained drug dealers do not only stop at selling, they equally do consult their supposed patients, though unqualified to do so, and despite parading themselves with the title of doctor. Worse still, these doctors, as they are fondly called, do engage in getting ladies aboard, even performing D&C to women. And it is following many reports that the regional delegate for health for the Central region, after warnings, has decided to send a team to assist the chief medical officer for the Ezeka hospital to close down all pro-pharmacies around the town. This, unfortunately, is not the first of its kind, but we do hope it succeeds this time around, as we wish them well.
And like you said, Chris Toby, residents in Ezeka and the Nyong and Kele division have, however, doubted how effective the measure by authorities in that part of the country is going to be, given that it is not the first time they are carrying out such measures. Meantime, Cameroon joins the global community today to observe World Population Day with focus on teenage pregnancy, which is said to be both a health and developmental problem. It is revealed that about 16 million young girls under the age of 18 give birth every year, with reports of how it is a #1 killer of teenage girls across developing countries, precisely in Africa. This year's international event seeks to create awareness on the hopes of making a world where every pregnancy would be wanted and also every childbirth safe. We now move to our advertorial page. A mechanic has created a record in Africa after winning over 180 million francs CFA with PMUC game. And the man who lives in Yaoundé used just 800 francs CFA to win his jackpot. The ceremony to receive his prize took place in the economic capital Douala. That was on Wednesday, and according to some PMUC officials, it is a historic event. Details in the following report.
It is total jubilation at the PMUC headquarters in Douala during the award ceremony of the sum of 180,200,000 francs CFA to a lucky winner who had two combinations, an order in Kente Plus amounting to 180,200,000 francs and a disorder in the same Kente Plus of 203,100 francs CFA. The winner of the day, a mechanic cum farmer who preferred anonymity for security reasons, played just 2 tickets of 800 francs and had his fortune. It is the PMUC kiosk attendants around Hotel de Plateau in Yaoundé who received the jackpot for her client. He arrived at the kiosk at about 7:30 a.m. and told me that today I do not want to work. I will spend my day in carrying out my research to win the 180 million francs. This banco of over 180 million francs made available since July 5 has beaten the record of 141 million francs won some time ago by Joseph Zoua. It is extraordinary. This is the big record in all PMU games in Africa. In Cameroon, we are always the first. With PMUC, it is fantastic. Accompanying the general manager of PMUC, Jean-Yves Tommy, are 2 business associates, SGPC and Grass Savoy Insurance. An adage says that money is good at all times. We are ready to accompany the winner in the management of his funds. This is a jackpot for big investment. So it is a role of the PMUC to advise its winner to do a good investment, allow him to have a good insurance to secure his funds. The ceremony was punctuated with songs and merrymaking, with the PMUC holding firm its goal of enriching Cameroonians.
Madame, Monsieur.
Ladies and gentlemen, join the team of winners so that at the end of each month you can count the benefits obtained from the millions. Besides the Paris Sportif of PMUC that enrich millions of football fanatics are 2 new surprises for lovers of the game. The return of Kate Plus and Bonus Danglodge Exact is now at the disposal for players of the race of Paris Mutuel Urban Camerounais.
Meantime, the mortal remains of former Lions player, that is Louis Paul Mfede, was this morning removed from the Yaoundé General Hospital. He died last month, that is in June 2013, after a protracted illness. And he leaves behind a football family, the football fans, family members, as well as well-wishers to mourn for him. And he would be ferried to Monatele, his native village, on Saturday for burial. And viewers, that does it for this edition of the Primetime Newscast on Equinox Television. But before we go, a recap of our major headlines. Tonight, we took a look at the Elekam board chair, who has so far said that the legitimacy of those to be voted in upcoming twin elections in the country might be questioned if the electorate do not correspond to the number of registered voters. And his outing is coming after over 2 million registered voters have so far not collected their biometric cards, and also 2 alleged fake priests unveiled in the Yaoundé Central region of the country. We thank you so much for having joined us in this edition of the news. Join Etienne Pascal Azege at exactly 8 p.m. for the French version of the news. Meantime, have a wonderful stay in the company of our programs. Good night.